Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Jai Shri Gurudev. Today we are celebrating the auspicious occasion of the appearance of Sri Advaita Acarya, very intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya. He is the incarnation of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva combined. So he's a very amazing personality. And we're also going to be discussing a question from one of our dear family members in our spiritual community about the nature of the devotees and their bhakti, how they actually only aspire for loving engagement in service, even more than liberation. They're very happy simply in their relationship of love with Krishna. So what should we start with? Mother Chandrika? We're going to hear a little bit about Sri Advaita Acarya. He showed signs of his divine status even when he was a child. His name was Kamalaksha, lotus-eyed one. And his father was a priest for the royal court and a worshipper of Durga. They were all Durga followers, worshippers of the Lord's personification of material energy, the mother. And the king and his followers all worshipped her. And Advaita Acharya's father, as a priest, would go to court and give teachings along with his father to the king as his minister, as his priests. And because the king was very affectionate to Advaita Acharya and his father, the other priests became envious, and they were looking for a way to disfame Advaita Acharya and his father. It's particularly Advaita, as a young boy, Kamalaksha. So this is a very famous history of his. One day, the other priests told the king that this boy does not offer obeisance to the temple deity of Mother Durga at the entrance of the court, the royal court. They had noticed this and thought, now we've found something. He's very proud. So the king approached the priest, the father of Advaita Acharya, who asked his son, why aren't you worshipping the Lord, Mother Durga? Why aren't you offering obeisance to her? And he was very timid. He did not want to respond, but again and again they pressed him on it. And then he said, she will not accept my pranam. And then everyone became even more disturbed. And they said, you must bow down. She is the mother of the universe. You must bow down. And so, smiling, the boy began to bow down. He was in front of this temple. There's a beautiful deity of Mother Durga. As he was bowing down, before his head touched the ground, the murti exploded. And an aerial sound came in the sky. How can I accept the obeisance of my husband? She said, he is my Prabhu, my Swami, my master. He is none other than Sadashiv and Mahavishnu as their incarnation. I cannot accept his obeisance. You must all offer him obeisance. So that was a very famous history from his childhood. In due course, he came to live in Shantipur, near the place of the birth of Lord Chaitanya. So at this time, Lord Chaitanya is an incarnation of Radha Krishna, Krishna with the mood and complexion of Sri Radha, and Advaita Acharya came before him. He came before, he was elder, and he is Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. So who is higher, Mahavishnu and Sadashiva or Radha and Krishna? Ultimately, Sri Radha and Sri Krishna are the highest in rasa and in tattva, but in sweetness, in beauty, and they are the ultimate source, the ultimate origin, highest principle, according to our scriptures. So Advaita Acharya prayed for Lord Chaitanya to come, Radha Krishna to come. In every age, an incarnation of the Lord comes. So these two personalities are the incarnations in this age of Kali. Dwarpa Yuga, Krishna came with Balaram. In Treta Yuga, Lord Ram came, and so on and so forth. Many incarnations always are coming. But the source of all incarnations is Radha Krishna, and they came as Lord Chaitanya. So Advaita Acharya was praying that I have the duty of delivering the jivas in this age, but I see that they are very stubborn, especially in this time. This is described in Chaitanya Bhagavat, that many incarnations of the Lord come, and Krishna describes this in the Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya chaduskritam, dharma sangstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Many incarnations come, and they have that service, that dharma of uplifting the devotees, delivering them from evil, protecting them, establishing dharma, defeating the demons. But this does not change people's nature. They come and they give religious teachings, establish the principles of dharma, kill the demons, but it doesn't change the heart. One may get liberation even from being annihilated by the Lord. Even if someone is killed by the Lord as a demon, they can merge within the absolute truth and get that form of liberation into the light. But Advaita Acharya said, actually, this is a very special time. This Kali Yuga, see, and every Kali Yuga, Mahavishnu and Sadashiva will come in one avatar, or Mahavishnu will come. But Radha Krishna themselves directly will not come. This is the distinction. This Lord Chaitanya is a very special incarnation. He is glorified as coming after a very long time. Anarpita charim chirat karuna avatirna kalo. This specific incarnation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is not an ordinary avatar. He is directly Prem Purushottama, the highest personality of Godhead and the embodiment of divine love. And so in this age, he did not come simply to establish dharma, to kill demons. He did not do any of that. Lord Chaitanya in his life never harmed anyone. The closest he came was when Jagai Madai attacked Lord Nityananda, the incarnation of Krishna's brother Balaram. They threw a clay pot at his head and it cut him, and they were ready to beat and kill him. And Lord Chaitanya appeared and he invoked Sudarshan Chakra. And as the Sudarshan Chakra was coming, Lord Nityananda begged him, please, in this incarnation, you have promised not to harm anyone. Rather, you will give them divine love, even your enemies. You will awaken divine love. When Lord Chaitanya was going through the forest, he would chant the names Hari and Radhe Radhe, Hari, Mahamantra, Hari Harai Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. And even lions, tigers, elephants, and deer would start to dance in ecstasy. This is described in the histories of Lord Chaitanya. Serpents, tigers, generally very aggressive creatures, would become ecstatic in love. So Advaita Acharya said, I don't want to perform those regular functions of the incarnations in this age. I want you to come, Lord. He was calling for Lord Chaitanya to come. He was a very exalted Brahmin, and he would teach from the scripture, the Bhagavad Gita and so forth. But he said, I'm seeing people are not changing. Simply by moral instruction, you can't change people's nature. You should be more religious. Study the scriptures. Follow an ethical life. Develop devotion, love for God. This teaching alone does not have potency. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not only come to give a teaching, he taught the practice. And he experienced it himself and distributed that love of God higher than any teaching. That's why we discussed it the other day. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, my Guru told me I was not so intelligent to study all the Vedanta and all the scriptures. Because he was challenged by a sannyasi, why are you chanting in ecstasy and dancing in the streets? You are a sentimentalist. You should be a proper sannyasi and simply study day and night. Don't sing and dance. This is not the activity of a monk. Whoever heard of monks singing and dancing? This is not appropriate. They challenged him, and he said, my Guru told me I was a fool. Murkha tumi tomar nahi ko Vedanta adhikar Sada Krishna naam japai mantrasar. You simply chant the name of Krishna. We're publishing a book of our Srila Gurudev called The Key to Happiness. Small book, 20 pages. And in that book, it teaches you that the key to happiness is meditation while chanting this Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's a key to happiness. You can read hundreds of books. We read that today also. Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada said, you can read hundreds of books, but what conclusion will you come to without practicing this process of bhakti yoga? So Advaita Acharya was teaching, but he was dissatisfied with the situation in the world. At that time, people were very engrossed in material life, as they are as well at this time. He said they would spend so much money arranging elaborate festivals for the marriages of their cats and dogs. This was in Bengal at the time. It also happened during the time of our Bhaktivinoda Thakur, hundreds of years later. He said they would arrange huge festivals. You can imagine. Where they would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to marry their cats. Oh, this cat is in love with this other cat. Nonsense. The cats don't even care. But this is just a game for entitled aristocrats who have nothing better to do. Advaita Acharya was very angry. He thought, what is this, Lord? You must come to deliver them. He thought, I am Sadashiva. I have the power to destroy. I am Mahavishnu. I have the power to reset this whole creation. If you don't come, Lord, then what else is left for me to do? So the Lord has this, it's a very mysterious kind of lila. This is all Vishnu Tattva, the Lord's transcendental potency. Radha Krishna is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Advaita Acharya, Vishnu Tattva and Sadashiva. But he wanted Radha Krishna themselves to come. And so he would pray at the banks of Mother Ganges. He would worship Shalagram. And he would take 8 tulasi leaves and offer them to Shalagram and offer the water of Mother Ganga. And he would call out with great devotion. He would roar for the Lord to appear. He would call out. Later on, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, Mahaprabhu called him forward and he said, you were calling me so loudly that I was shaking in my throne, in the spiritual abode. He was calling out, roaring. You imagine Advaita Acharya, Lord Sadashiva and Mahavishnu, combined incarnation, were shouting, frustrated at the situation of material life in this world. With great frustration for the situation of the living entities, he was roaring, you must come, Lord, and worshiping him. Not just roaring, but worshiping. There's a verse in scripture that says, the Lord is purchased by the devotee who offers him simply tulasi leaves with water of the Ganga. Vikrinite samatmanam. I am purchased by my devotee who offers me. Every day you're purchasing Krishna. Our Vrindavan Brahmachari is worshipping Shalagram every day with tulsi and with holy water after invoking Mother Ganga. So you're purchasing Krishna every day. Krishna is waiting. What will he ask me to do? I have been purchased. I am at his beck and call. So Advaita Acharya knew this verse from the scripture and he was worshipping with this mood, calling out for the Lord to come. And therefore, it's one of the primary reasons that he came at this time. It's the calling of Advaita Acharya. There are many ages of Kali. 4 ages of the universe are always going on. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. But it's by Advaita Acharya's fervent calling of the Lord that Lord Chaitanya appeared in this Kali Yuga. At this time, only 550 years ago. So we are very fortunate. In this incarnation, we have access to something higher than what was available to the living entities for many cycles of creation. In every age, we have the ability to serve God, develop devotion to God, achieve liberation. But Lord Chaitanya gives us a higher opportunity. So this leads us into our question from our dear Renu. Why is it that the devotees are not interested in liberation? It's very astonishing. If you approach Hindus, they will tell you the goal of life is liberation, moksha. Generally, that is the goal. And that you may achieve that through bhakti, devotion, or through gyan, knowledge, or through vairagya, renunciation, or through yoga, meditation. There are different ways to approach that ultimate goal of moksha. But in this age, that is not the goal. It is not the highest goal. Diyamanam nagrananti vinamat sevanam yata. Our Renu asked a question, and it's referring to this verse, that the devotees do not accept liberation without my direct loving service. They're not interested. So therefore, Advaita Acharya called Mahaprabhu. In every age, incarnations come, and we're able to practice bhakti, we're able to practice gyan, knowledge, we're able to practice yoga. But the desire, like I said the other night, we are limited by our desire. Unless you know, how can you even desire that thing? So there's a verse about Lord Chaitanya. Anarpita chirin chirat karuna avatirna kalo samarpaitum unata ujvala rasam svabhakti shriyam. That the gift of Lord Chaitanya is so high. Without knowledge of it, how can you even desire it? Yes? You have no idea. How can you even desire it? It's such a high thing. Before Lord Chaitanya, it was lost. It was hidden. Some sages would worship Krishna and desire love for him. But not in that aspect as understanding their connection to Sri Radha. They're directly approaching Krishna. And the love in that position and the experience in that position is still limited. So what Lord Chaitanya came to give is that highest thing. It's called Tat Tat Bhav Ichamai, where you are so deeply connected to Srimati Radhika that you experience her every mood and her every exchange of love with Krishna, along with your own individual experience of pure love. You have access to that highest realm of experience. So that was not present. And also, in general, bhakti rasa was not understood. People know about bhakti, right? We hear about bhakti, devotion. But what is bhakti rasa? Bhakti rasa is most people cannot even fathom. People, you tell this to people, they think, what is this? This is crazy. Your philosophy is that you can wrestle with God, not as, Israel means to wrestle with God. If you look at the definition of Israel, it means literally to wrestle with God. It means to wrestle with the concept as a human being. But in our philosophy, we say you can actually wrestle with Krishna and defeat him. And he must carry you on his shoulders. And he will be very happy with that. And the cowherd boys will tell Krishna, what kind of big person are you? These are not my words. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu's teachings, Ramananda Roy Sambad. They don't think of Krishna as God. In most ages, with most incarnations, they teach you worship God, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, I am God, Krishna, but I have come to teach you to worship my beloved, Srimati Radhika, to serve my beloved, Srimati Radhika. And also, if you want to come to my highest realm, Vrindavan, you don't have to see me as God. Actually, I don't really like that so much. There's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Aishwarya sitil prem nahi mor prit. That love for me that's with this wall of opulence that that you are God, you are great and I am small. He said this limits our expression of an experience of love. Yes, I am God. Yes, you are soul. You are divine. You are Atma, supreme soul, my part and parcel. I am the supreme soul. But what's that have to do with playing in the forest? Right? What's that have to do with grazing the cows, with collecting fruit from the trees, with dancing in the moonlight, with swimming in the river Jamuna? What's that have to do? Okay, I am God. You are my part and parcel. What's that have to do with what's for lunch? What is Mother Yashoda cooking today? What is Radharani sending into the forest today? That loving relationship, beyond all those other levels of godliness and liberation, is much superior. And that is only available when you understand that opportunity. Who is there to give that opportunity in this world? It's very rare. Most people worship God for material results. Some worship God for liberation. Some worship God for, following some social customs. Some worship God to really worship God as the supreme. But who are those in Radha Ramananda Sambad Mahaprabhu is discussing with Ramananda Roy? He says there's 3 kinds of very high levels of bhakti rasa. That means actual relationship with God. One is friendship. And the examples given are sambrama, vibrama, with awe and reverence and with intimacy. And he says Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita is an example of friendship with reverence. And when Arjuna saw the universal form of the Lord, he became afraid and he said, I must have committed some offense. Please forgive me. You are God. I did not know. They would take a nap in the same bed. Krishna's head would be by Arjuna's feet, and Arjuna's feet would be by Krishna's head. And he thought, what have I done? I may go to hell for an offense to you. This is one example. And then he gives the example of others. And in the mood of Vatsalya, parental love, Devaki and Vasudev, they saw Krishna, but when they understood Krishna's position, even in the beginning when he first appeared in four-armed form of Vishnu, they offered pranam, oh, you are the Supreme Lord. There's immediately a wall between you. Imagine, okay, you are God. There's like, God walks into the room. What do you do? What do you do if God walks into the room? You fall flat and you start either becoming stunned or you offer prayers. There's a story of Dhruva in the Bhagavad. He saw Vishnu and he became stunned what to do. And then Lord Vishnu blessed him with his conch shell, Shankha, which gives divine knowledge. And then he offered beautiful prayers of worship, which is very high, to actually see God and to pray to God with prayers. It's a very high thing. But Krishna, he took on the form of Vishnu in Vrindavan to hide. The gopis were searching for him one day in Paitagram, and Krishna hid with 4 arms. He took on that Vishnu form. And as a statue, he was standing there. And each of the gopis came by and they offered respect and said, have you seen Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is he hiding? And they went on their way. He didn't say anything. He's a Didi. When Radharani came, she did not ask, where is Krishna? Vishnu's 4 arms disappeared. He again directly became Krishna. And Radharani said, hey, you think you can trick me pretending to be, 4-armed, this and that? Nonsense. How dare you? Then there's the example of the queens in Dwarka, Satyabhama and Rukmini. Very exalted. In a million lifetimes, we cannot touch the dust of their lotus feet. They are so glorious. They're so exalted. The divine potencies of the Lord, his eternal consorts, his eternal Shaktis. And yet their relationship is inhibited by their reverence to him as God. This is most people would say, what is this conception? You think God is someone you can just wrestle with and play with, dance with, rebuke? Krishna once chastised Rukmini. Oh, you should go back to this, Shishupal. Go to anyone else. I am not so good for you. Where am I from? Am I a cowherd? Am I a Vaishya? Am I a warrior? I have no background, no caste. Who really knows? And I'm not qualified for you. You should go. And he was teasing her and she began to cry and she fainted. And Krishna was thinking of the gopis. With the gopis, I would laugh and joke and play and tease them, and they would tease me back 10 times worse. But I teased Rukmini a little bit and she fainted. Oh, Krishna is leaving me, rejecting me. What is my fault? With Satyabhama, she is very contrary. But one time she was being very contrary and he said, hey, tell Satyabhama I'm calling her father and sending her back home. Or she can come here. And she immediately, very shyly, came in front of Krishna and said, I'm sorry. Please, don't send me home. I want to be with you. Krishna, if he were to try this with the gopis, they would say, hey, send us home. We ever came to you? We asked anything from you? We never took one flower from you. Instead, you're always coming in our forests, in the gardens, with your calves, destroying the garden, destroying the flowers. What is this big ego you have now, Krishna? Go home. He said, you are the proprietor here? Krishna one time tried to tax the gopis and they rebuked him. He said, this is my forest. My father is the king of Vrindavan, Nanda Baba, Nanda Maharaj. They said, no, he's not. Vrindavan is named after Vrinda Devi. She is the empress of Vrindavan. And they called Vrinda and she said, yes, this is true. I gave it to Radharani. Therefore, her name is Vrindavaneshwari. It is hers. When they said it was Vrinda's, then Krishna said, well, I married Vrinda. And Vrinda came and said, no good parent would ever marry their daughter to you, you black cheater. We never want to see your face. You're always disturbing us. And you're impious. One time you killed a lady, Putana. One time you killed a calf, Vatsasura. One time you killed a bull, Aristasura. It's a very strange conception, yes? Trying to wrap our heads around it. So we're marrying this point of Advaita Acarya, his glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we're going to your topic if you're here with us. We're going to go to your topic. I'm going to read your question, and I'm going to dive into the topic. First, we have to understand a little bit about Braj Bhakti. This is what we're discussing. What is Braj Bhakti? What is Bhakti Ras? What is this gift of Lord Chaitanya? That Krishna is God, but a relationship with his devotees based on his godliness ultimately bores him. He prefers intimacy. He has that reality. There are unlimited Vaikuntha planets, liberated planets, where he is in that experience. But the highest realm is not that. The highest realm of the Lord is simply pure love and devotion, free of any other inhibition. They don't love Krishna because he is God. They love Krishna because he is Krishna. Yes? In Vrindavan, they worship Narayan. Mother Yashoda worships Shalagram, not Krishna. And when Krishna told them to go take shelter of Giriraj, he said, no, Giriraj is superior. Take shelter of Giriraj. He didn't say take shelter of me. So this is the highest realm called Gokul Mahavan, Gokul Vrindavan. Not even Goloka Vrindavan. Beyond Goloka Vrindavan, the highest center. Krishna chastised the queens, but Radharani's maidservants chastised Krishna. You understand? Krishna chastises his queens in Dwarka, and yet Radharani's maidservants chastise Krishna. There's a verse. Yat kinkarishu bahusha kaluka kuvani nityang parasya purushasya sikartamoli tasya kadarasa nider brishabhanu jayas tatkeli kunja bhavanangana marjani sham. One time Krishna was late for the rendezvous with Radharani, and she told the Manjaris, her maidservants, I don't want to see that black cheater, Krishna. Stand guard very vigilantly at the gate of the grove, the flower grove. And the gopis were standing there, and Krishna approached in a very humble manner. Please, may I come? And he said, no, we are on strict orders. Radharani doesn't even want to see your face. She doesn't want to hear you. In fact, be silent and leave. And Krishna was trying to speak with them. This is actually related to Vilap Kusumanjali. There's one pastime like this. Verse 96, Tavevasmi, our Gurudev would often sing. This is Rati Manjari, the author, praying, Radharani, I am yours, please accept me, Please do not reject me, accept me as your own. I cannot live without you. He's praying like that after Radharani became angry with her for speaking with Krishna. Even speaking with Krishna outside the Kunj when Radharani was in Man. Why are you speaking with him? Simply send him away. Don't waste any time. He's very tricky. Don't waste time speaking with him. Send him away. So how sweet must be for Krishna to have this kind of relationship where Radharani's maidservants are able to chastise him. And as he comes closer, he tries again and again, one way or another. Radharani then says, no, get out. Jahi Madhava, Jahi Keshava, Madhava Kaitava Vadam. Go away, Krishna. Go away, Madhava. I don't want to see you. You are a cheater. I will not look in your face. Radharani does not love Krishna. She is the embodiment of love. She is Mahabhav Swarup. She is only love. Her name means love. Her nature is love. All love that is there in this world comes from her. She is the source of love. How can you say she doesn't love Krishna and yet she is rejecting him? Go away. What is the mystery of love? This is called Bhakti Rasa. Vraja Bhakti Rasa. Radharani, one time Nanda Baba, because there's different levels of this. One time Nanda Baba was sitting with his cowherd friends, the elders, the men. And they were telling, oh, Krishna's done this, and he did this, and he killed this demon, he lifted Govardhan, he must be Bhagavan. And Nanda Baba began to laugh. The other night there was a lightning storm, and little baby Krishna came running into our bed, and he cuddled with me and Mother Yashoda. Oh, Mother Yashoda, oh, Nanda Baba, I'm afraid. How is it possible? When Krishna entered the arena of Kamsa, the warriors saw him as a thunderbolt. He is the thunderbolt. Of the 12 rasas, Krishna is the thunderbolt for those who are demons, antagonistic. They see him as death personified. Kamsa saw him, time personified death. The warriors saw him as a lightning bolt. And yet in Vrindavan, when there's lightning outside, Krishna runs and grabs hold of, he jumps in the bed. You see like little kids. They come and jump in their mom's bed. And they hug mom and dad. Oh, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. No, but so how can that be God? How can he be God? Maybe sometimes some special power comes in, but I don't accept he can be God. Gurudev would speak like that. So this is Krishna, who is Vrajendra Nandan, the son of Nanda Baba. Gurudev would say he is not Krishna Bhagavan at that stage. He is not king, he is prince. No duties, no responsibilities except to love his devotees and to have these exchanges of love with his devotees. Not only the gopis and the gopas, the cows, the calves, not only the cows and the calves, the peacocks, the monkeys, the cuckoos, the birds, not only them, the trees. Krishna walks into the forest and the trees are weeping tears of ecstasy in the form of nectar from their flowers and from their fruits. And the deer stands stunned looking at Krishna with so much love. The river Jamuna starts to flow backwards in madness of ecstasy. And her waters form little whirlpools because Krishna is walking along the banks of the Jamuna. And the river doesn't want to, each drop of water doesn't want to go away from Krishna. So she is forced to go in circles. And as Krishna is going, she's going in four. Why is it that Krishna is walking up the river Jamuna and the river Jamuna starts following him? And then she forms little whirlpools and collects lotuses and places them at Krishna's feet. This is Vrindavan. People have this idea of heaven that everyone's playing on harps and blowing conch shells and worshiping God. But that is not so sweet to him as this pure love and relationship in Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu came to give a taste, a glimpse of that. And he came to help us understand what is pure love and how is the nature of the devotees. So now we'll get to your question. How is it that devotees are not interested even in liberation? How is it possible? Does it make sense? So I'll read the question. Is bhakti, devotional service, just mean chanting your rounds, worshipping the deities, trying to please the spiritual master, preaching? Is that bhakti? So you have to understand the difference between Vaidhi Bhakti and Rag Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means performing the regulative principles of devotion. rising early in the morning, worshipping Tulasi, chanting around, doing the arti, what we're doing day and night, yes? Every morning waking up early, chanting japa, doing Mangal Arti, doing Guru Puja, studying, serving, publishing books. Is that the end of everything? What is the goal? This is the question. What is the goal of the devotee? For general people practicing bhakti or Hindu life, they think the goal is liberation, moksha. This is only a lack of understanding, not a lack in their soul. Soul is pure, but they don't understand. That's why we have passion towards distributing this message. Because there's a lack of understanding. So how can you even desire this thing? You don't understand it, right? You don't even understand. And even if you start to understand, you think, how is it possible? So really, we see from our gurus, I saw from my guru and from our teacher in India, that for them, this is a reality. For them, they sit and they meditate on Krishna and they're there with Krishna. They don't need liberation because they're liberated. We think liberation is the goal. The devotees are already liberated. Iha yasya herer dasya karmana manasa gira. The devotees, because their hearts are completely in love with Krishna, and all of their actions are flavored with their love. That means all their actions are love incarnate. The actions of the devotees are love incarnate. That means service. Not karma, not fruit of action, not even dharma. Pure love, spotless prem. Why? Because if Radharani's potency enters your heart, that mood of Kriya Shakti, active, pure love, Ananda Swarupini Shrimati Radharani's, when her bhakti rasa enters your heart through Swarup Shakti. Swarup Shakti means her potency, her love from her associates, from the Guru Varga, a tiny ray of that enters your heart. That is the goal as a devotee. That may a drop of the love of Radharani enter my heart. May a tiny particle of the love of Radharani enter my heart. That is called bhav. Rupa Goswami says, Sudha Shatva Visheshatma Prema Suryang Samyubhak Ruchi Bis Kidriso Bhava Muchite. That is bhav bhakti. That means ecstatic love. So I'm flipping this question around now. Oh, it seems like very boring. Okay, we don't want liberation. And then the question gets even more serious. Okay, there's 5 kinds of liberation. Okay, we don't want to merge with Krishna because we lose our identity and the experience of love. That's the first. Devotees don't want to merge with Krishna because our Padma Guru, they would say, what's the difference of sugar and stool? He gave a very extreme example. If you merge into oneness, there's no separate awareness with which to experience union. You can't even experience union with God if you were just merged into it. You understand? So we want union, but not without losing ourselves. So we don't want oneness. It's no point. If you're sugar, you can't taste yourself. So don't merge with God. We accept that. But there's 4 other kinds of liberation. And Renu was asking, what about samipya? That means being nearby Krishna. Swarupya, having a form like Krishna. Salokya, having a planet like Krishna's. These are all like boons you get. Okay, you're doing bhakti and you have your wheel of fortune. Oh, I made a planet like Krishna's? Special prize, bonus. Ding, 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 ding. Mother Chandrika, you get a planet like Krishna's. You get to have your own Krishna planet, but no Krishna. What's the point then? You get to be Vishnu? You want to become Vishnu? You get 4 arms, and everyone worships you, and you have your own jackpot planet. Mother Chandrika's Vaikuntha planet, where you get to be eternally blissful and free of anxiety. It's a great boon. Samipya, you get to be close to Lord Vishnu. Gopakumar, there's a famous history, the history of Gopakumar. He got to be close to Lord Vishnu, Samipya Mukti. He became very close to him, and then he wanted to hug him. And the associates of Vishnu said, Hut! You can't touch God. He's God, didn't you know? Didn't you get the terms and conditions of God? How dare you? He wanted to run and embrace him. No, he's God. He's up there, you're down here. You can simply offer prayers. Om Sasra Sirsa Purusha Sasraksha Sasrapat Veda Stutis. That is the limit of your relationship. You can glorify God from a distance. Social distancing. Don't touch. This is the condition. Understand? No touch. You're not allowed to touch Lord Vishnu. He walks by and everyone offers prayers. That's it. And there's many guards. Like, if you want to you want to go and hug the President of the United States, he's walking by and you think, oh, I love you. I'm just going to run and hug you. You get tackled and taken out. So Gopakumar achieved the liberation where he was nearby Vishnu, but he wanted to hug him because love was in his heart. You understand? This soul was fully awakened in love. That is bhakti. Bhakti is love, and its active tense is service. The devotees love Krishna. So love is blocked by opulence. Oh, you are God. I am small. I am far. I can glorify you from a distance. Some temples you can have darshan for 10 seconds only. Look, offer your prayer and go. The Lord is busy. I've been to those temples in South India. You wait for 5 hours in line and you get to be in front of the Lord for 10 seconds. Hut, go, shoo, 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 shoo. No, but I want to hug him. Hut! Nonsense. Get out. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri, he ran to embrace the Lord and they were ready to beat him. Lord Nityananda went and by force embraced Jagannath. My dear brother Jagannath, he embraced him. Everyone was thinking what to do. This powerful Nityananda. When Mahaprabhu came, he ran towards him in the mood of the lover, Radha, and he fell senseless. And the guards were thinking, this crazy person ran up right to the Lord to hug him? You think you can go hug the deity? One time I was in India in a temple, and I was dressing the deities every day. And then I came in the morning to dress them, and I saw, what is this? Someone is painting Krishna lipstick? Who dares do that? No one has that, right? We've painted Krishna, we dress him. You can respect Krishna, but you don't have right to climb on the altar and start painting him, putting on new makeup on Krishna. He's God. Have some respect, right? That is not in Vrindavan. They have transcended that. In Vrindavan, Krishna dresses like a gopi to please the gopis. When Krishna tried to take tax from the gopis, they refused. But then finally, Krishna was very powerful. He had all his friends, and he said, by force you have to give. So they all gave tax, one laddu, some butter, some honey, whatever they had. They had all their pots. They were going to the marketplace. So they gave something of everything, but in their heart they thought, okay, you'll see what is the reaction to this. And after some time, Krishna was very proud. He was strutting around. I took tax from the gopis. Have you heard? He told all his friends, I taxed the gopis. Such a powerful, powerful man am I. And he was going around with only some of his friends, like coolest kids in town. And the gopis prepared an ambush. They said, he has become very proud. Pride comes before the fall. So he's become very proud. And as he was going in one area, they all hid. Thousands of gopis hid in the forest, behind the trees, behind the rocks. And as Krishna's walking through with 10 or so of his friends, they ambushed him. They surrounded him. Thousands of gopis from all directions, like, woo! Coming from all directions. Run this way, run that way, run that way. Which way are we going to run? They started going in all directions, but they all captured. Each boy, like 100 gopis captured them. And they tied all their sikas to the trees. They have their long braid. Sikas, that means Vedic dress. So they tied the boys' sikas in the trees and began to box their cheeks and say, never again. You all held sticks and blocked us in the narrow passageway and by force took tax. Some kind of dacoit. This is a dacoit behavior. You have no right over the land, but then you go to that area and you forcibly take from people. It's a dacoit. So he said the punishment for that is to box your cheeks. And all the gopis boxed the boys' cheeks. And oh, mama, mother. Krishna, save us. Krishna, save us. Krishna was saying, how can I save you? 1,000 gopis surrounded him, bound him, and they said, now we're going to teach you what it's like to be a gopi that is harassed by you boys. And so they dressed him in a gopi skirt. They took off his turban, gave him a simple gopi skirt, shawl, and then a big 50-kilo pot of yogurt. They said, hold it, Krishna, or else. And Krishna held it. And he was very shy. He put on gopi dots, gopi makeup, gopi dress, everything. Krishna's standing there, now holding the pot. And then Lalita Devi, Radharani's best friend, a little older, she took a big, sharp rock. Not too big, but she took it, she aimed it carefully and threw it. And it cracked the bottom of the clay pot, and it exploded and poured all over Krishna. This is why we do Abhishek of Krishna with yogurt. It reminds him of this. Krishna was smiling. Is he happy or sad? He's happy because he is Bhagavan, he is the Lord, but he's always with his devotees who are a little afraid of him. Anytime he shows a little opulence, they become afraid. Sambrama Vibrama means friendship is there, but with opulence. Love is there, but with opulence, with reverence, with separateness. You are God, I am small. So they had that mood. But in Vrindavan, that's not the mood. So you have to understand something. As devotees, our goal is not to be nearby Krishna. It's to have pure love for Krishna. Then you'll be nearby Krishna. It's automatic. Why do you need a planet separate from Krishna? Think of the person you love most in this world, your kids, okay? If you love your kids, or, whoever it is, your teacher, your friends, your family, your children, whoever it may be, your wife, your husband, you really love your wife, and someone tells you, okay, I got a deal for you. You get to go to this other planet, you have your own planet like heaven, but your wife's not going to be there. What do you mean? I'd rather be on earth, but with my wife. I'd rather be on earth, but with my husband. If you have love for someone, you want to be with them, but not because you want something from them. So in this world, most people worship God because they want something from God. You understand? I want from you. Oh Lord, give me, Jesus. People don't like that in America now. Prosperity gospel. No. Love, pure love for Jesus doesn't mean, Jesus, you make me, win the stock market. Win the lottery. That's mixed devotion. Not pure devotion. Mixed devotion is not devotion. It's only business. Prahlad Maharaj said to the Lord, I have not worshipped you for any business exchange. I worshipped you so that I would get a boon. So in Vrindavan, they have no conception of Krishna even as God because it's limiting the sweetness. It's limiting the sweetness. He is Bhagavan, but Gurudev said, ultimately, you must forget this if you want to enter Vrindavan. Understand the truth and transcend the truth. So the question is, there's two questions here, but I'm answering one of them. In the Bhagavatam, it said, Durvasa Muni says, the Lord's pure devotees are always satisfied being engaged in bhakti, devotional service. Therefore, they do not aspire even after the 5 kinds of liberation, to be one with him, to have a residence on his planet, to have opulence like Krishna, to have bodily features like Krishna, or even to be nearby Krishna, samipya. Samipya, the 5 kinds of mukti are called sayujya, salokya, samipya, sarsti. There's 5 kinds. But diyamanam nagrananti, vinamat sevanam yata. The devotees aren't aspiring for them separately. They're not interested. So as we practice, so what is the goal? That is the question. So this verse is referenced in the 9th canto of the Bhagavatam, but actually the source of this topic, and there's one more question, I'll go into the other topic as well. So there's regulative devotion, regulative practice, Vaidhi Bhakti, worshipping the deity, chanting our rounds, worshipping Tulasi, following Ekadashi, going on pilgrimage, hearing sacred Harikatha, and so forth. These are regulative practices of devotion. But by doing them, what arises is spontaneous love and desire for that sweet relationship in Vrindavan, according to your mood, whether in parental affection or friendship or conjugal love, as the servant of Srimati Radhika, but experiencing that love for Sri Krishna, or as a Sakhi, that mood of love awakens in the heart. And the goal for the devotee is not moksha. The goal is pure love, and that leads to ecstasy. So there's a verse, right? Kidriso bhava muchyate. Unless your practice is aiming at the experience of ecstasy out of love for God, then actually you're not doing any sadhana, any spiritual practice. That's the verse. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavasa sadhanabhida nitya sirasya bhavasya prakritam hridi sadyata. Unless your practice is aiming at the awakening of divine ecstatic love, then that is not sadhana in bhakti. It is not a practice in bhakti. It may be practice in jnana, yoga, and so many other paths, kriya yoga, and so on and so forth. But in the path of bhakti, our goal is pure love for Krishna that manifests as ecstasy. So now I'm going to quote this verse, and then we'll go to your other question. So there's a verse, and it's a very beautiful topic. It's Kapila, who's another incarnation. In the third canto of Bhagavatam, there's a discourse between him and his mother. His mother's name is Devahuti. She was married to sage Kardama. And by their austerities, their penance, their purity, their love, their prayer, the Lord appeared as her son in one incarnation. And he instructed her on Sankhya Yoga, analytical knowledge of this world, of the self, of God, Gyan. And then she asked him about bhakti. And in the chapter 29 of Canto 3, he speaks specifically about bhakti. And there's a verse that you're referring to here that I'll read, but I want to read you the verse before that to help us understand. It's very important when you read scripture to understand the context. It's like nowadays you can cancel people because you take one thing they said and you take out the sentence before and the sentence after. They did that with our Gurudev. They tried to cancel him because he was refuting someone who spoke something bad about Swami Prabhupada. And he was saying, this is bogus, I can't believe they said this. And then he said it, and then he continued refuting it. And they take that out and they defame him. So if you really want to understand scripture, there's a process of hearing, there's a process of following, there's a process of surrender. So you don't just say, okay, this one thing. Understand the context. So I'm going to read you the verse, then I'm going to read you the verse before. So the verse is, I'll read the English. I'll read the Sanskrit as well. Salokya sarsti samipya sarupya ikatvam apyuta ad diyamanam nagrananti vinamat sevanam janaha. This is 3:29:13 Srimad Bhagavat. A pure devotee does not aspire or accept any kind of liberation, a planet like the Lord's, sarsti, opulences like the Lord, swarupya, form like the Lord, samipya, proximity with the Lord, or ekatva, to merge with the Lord. They don't accept without seva, direct devotional service. Vina mat sevanam jana, the last line means without the Lord's personal loving service, they are not interested in any of these forms of liberation. So that's the verse that is being referenced in your question. So now we'll go to the preceding verse. This is verse 11 and 12. It's a joint verse. I'll read it as well. Madguna shruti matrena mai sarva guhashaye manogatir avichinna yata gangam basho ambudo lakshanam bhakti yogasya nirgunasya hudahritam ahaitukya vyavahita ya bhakti purushotamehe. So this verse and the previous 5-6 verses are very sweet. He talks about mixed devotion. Some people worship God out of the mode of ignorance. Some people worship God out of the mode of passion. Some people worship God out of the mode of goodness. But none of those is pure devotion. Pure devotion is nirgun, transcendental. It has no cause other than love itself. It is spontaneous. It is satisfying to the soul. So why is it that the devotees are not seeking liberation? Because they receive complete satisfaction, yayatma suprasidhiti, simply by the practice of bhakti. Not regulative devotional worship. That cannot satisfy you. Krishna says, Aishwarya Satil Prem, regulative devotional worship cannot satisfy Krishna nor your soul. So distributing books and preaching, that is a regulative devotional worship. It is service to Guru, but Guru's ultimate service is to develop pure love. To really serve Guru means to become a pure devotee, to experience spiritual ecstasy in love for Krishna. That is the highest service to Guru. To become yourself on the platform of pure love. That is including liberation. Liberation becomes lightweight. Moksha laguta krit. One of the symptoms of bhakti is that moksha becomes very light. Moksha laguta krit. That's one of the symptoms of bhakti as it develops. Oh yes, liberation. They become maidservants of the devotee. They stand behind you. This is described in the scripture. I'm not making this up. It said that moksha, liberation, and pure knowledge and renunciation, and all opulences. So heaven, kingdom of earth, liberation itself. All these things stand behind you with folded hands. Can I serve you, dear devotee of the Lord? Can I serve you? Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada would say, if I really need anything, I can reach my hand into Vaikuntha and bring down a golden brick. That's transcendental, touchstone. But I'm not interested because I have pure love for you. I only want your service. I don't care where I am. You have to understand that bhakti is higher than liberation. The devotees are not waiting. That's a very beautiful thing for us to understand. That we are not waiting for some afterlife, ultimate attainment of grace. That the devotee is simply satisfied in their love for Krishna. It's not that they're satisfied, that they're blissful. That's what Mahaprabhu is saying in the 4th verse. Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagadishikame mama janmani janmanishvara bhavatad bhaktim. I only desire love for you, life after life. Then liberation waits behind you with folded hands. Can I serve you? Opulence, material opulence waits behind you. Can I give you any money? Can I help you? I've seen that with Vaishnavas. People come with them with suitcases of money and say, no need. Go give it to another temple. I don't need this. I have enough. Why? Because their heart is overjoyed. Sanatana Goswami had a touchstone. It was in the bin with all his leaves that he had cleaned his ashram. Oh yes, the touchstone is in the garbage. The person came to him for wealth. He said, the touchstone's in the garbage. I didn't finish the story before. That person came back and said, how can I understand this? He said, throw that touchstone in the river and come back and follow bhakti under my guidance. Then you can achieve that transcendental wealth, the highest wealth. Mahaprabhu said, Prem dana vina vyarta daridra jivan. Das kori vetan more deha prema dan. Without pure love for you, Lord, my life is meaningless. I simply pray for pure love for you. For that, I pray to become your servant and reward me only with your love. That is all I aspire for, O Lord. So here in this verse, Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya, the symptom of Bhakti Yoga, of a devotee, is that it is nirgun, transcendental. Udahritam. That means it is exhibited as causeless, ahaituki avyavataha. There's no sense of separation from Krishna. Krishna's pleasure is your happiness. When you have pure love. If you have pure love for someone, you want them to be happy, yes? If you really love someone, you want them to be happy. So at that point, you're not interested in your own happiness. I don't know how long people want to go on, but I can keep going. And I want to answer your second question. We still have hours to talk about Advaita Acarya, but this is the nature of Harikatha. You just have to keep going and going until the battery dies on my brain for today. And I've already spoken maybe 6 hours today with devotees and interviews, so we'll see how long we can go. But a few stories are coming to mind. The Vraja Gopis were ready to go to hell to simply relieve the headache of Krishna. There's a story of Krishna when he left Vrindavan, he's into work, and he said, today I have a bad headache, a migraine. Level 10, level 11. When the doctor says 1 to 10, what is it? Krishna said 12. And nothing was solving it. And the doctors were trying to resolve it, and they said, I think it's just some pain in his heart. There's no medicine for that. What is the medicine for pain of your heart? You tell me? What is the medicine? There's no material medicine, Ayurvedic, allopathic, homeopathic, whatever kind of medicine you want to use, it's not going to work. When that heart is burning in the fire of separation, Krishna said what to do. And Narad Muni came, his dear devotee, Narad, said, Lord, how can I help you? He said, go to my devotees and beg their foot dust. And if you smear the foot dust of the devotees on my head, maybe that will relieve my headache. That's why every day we offer sandal paste to Krishna, Shalagram. Every day you're offering Krishna the foot dust of his devotees. That incarnated as sandal trees. There's a beautiful history of that. The foot dust of the devotees of Vrindavan, the cows, the gopis, the gopas, all the residents of Vrindavan, every time they bathe in the river Jamuna accepts that dust on their lotus feet is the highest treasure. And she takes that and she meets the ocean in the natural course of her flowing. And the ocean god says, this great treasure has come to me, the dust of the feet of Krishna's eternal associates. What should I do with it? What should I do with it? And they decide, oh, let us take it to Mysore and we'll grow sandal trees, these most holy trees, very cooling. And that's used to worship the Lord. And they paste that. And that is the incarnation of the dust of the feet of his devotees. And every day we smear it on Krishna's form. So Krishna said, only the dust of my devotees' feet can relieve my headache. And so Narad went to go to all his associates. Will you give it the dust of your feet? No. He is God. How can I give the dust of my feet to God? You can do it? You have the audacity? My garland broke. It's possible? Okay, now it's not a full garland. I'll fix it. Fixed. Hare Krishna. Okay. This is your first one you made? Okay. Vinod Manjari made a very nice garland. It's supposed to break. It's good. Okay. So, Narad Muni asked devotees, will they give their foot dust to Krishna? You can imagine even to your guru. Imagine if your guru said, give me your foot dust. I remember we had our teacher in India, our mentor, Shiksha Guru, and he would massage the feet of the monks. Not only like junior monks, but since 30, 40 years he's been doing this. Like our very senior Vaishnavas, Bhakta Bandhav Maharaj, Tirtha Maharaj, he would serve them because, oh, you are Gurudev Sevaks? He would massage their feet, wash their clothes. When little boys would come and Gurudev would send them to school, every day he would cook lunch for them and pack their school lunch. Why? You are Gurudev Sevaks, you are Krishna's devotees. Service to the devotees is the root of perfection. Service to the devotees is the ultimate attainment. Service to the devotees is bliss itself. But no one wanted to give Krishna their foot dust. Krishna said, I begged for this service in the Rajasuya Yagya of Yudhisthira Maharaj. Yudhisthira Maharaj was giving services to everybody in this ceremony. And then he came to Krishna. Krishna came to him and said, I want service. Give me some service. He said, what service? You are the presiding Lord in this ceremony. He said, no, I want the service of washing everyone's feet. And Krishna sat at the entrance to the assembly. And anyone who came, even his enemies, he washed their feet and took the water in his head. He said, that's the service I want because I might get the opportunity to serve a devotee, to wash their feet. Vinamat pada rajo abhishekam, the dust of the feet of devotees is the most powerful thing in the whole universe. Why? They have pure love. And so no one wanted to give Krishna the foot dust. Anyone who knew he was God didn't want to give their foot dust. They were afraid. They said, oh, I might go to hell. I will have to go to hell for that offense. No one was ready. Finally, Narad Muni said, I will go to Vrindavan. They may be angry with Krishna because he has left them for so long. He had left them for 100 years. Left them for a long time. And they were weeping. Mother Yashoda no longer cooked. Her kitchen is full of cobwebs. Radharani is laying on her, like every breath is her last breath. Radharani is laying in the forest as if every breath is her last. And she would tell the gopis, when I give up my life, you should tie me to a tree. That the breeze, as my body dries, whatever air is in my body may go with the wind and be a cooling breeze to Krishna. Whatever fire is in my body may go and warm Krishna. Whatever earth is in my body, may it be put in the river Jamuna, and whatever is water, and then anyhow, may I go and serve Krishna. And she said, actually, I'm only able to maintain my life with great difficulty because I feel that Krishna will be sad if he hears I gave up my life. Krishna will be sad thinking I gave up my life. So with great difficulty, she's holding on to her life heirs. So in that condition, the cowherd boys are in the forest. That the cowherd boys went with Krishna to Kamsa's arena. And he killed Kamsa and the demons. And then he told Nanda Baba, I will come home very soon. He told the gopis, I will come home in 2 or 4 days. He said like that, 2 or 4. I will come home to Vrindavan. And he told that to the gopis. They were blocking his chariot, not letting him leave. And he said, you must let me leave. I have to go. I'll come back soon. Finally, they let him pass. And the cowherd boys, they came back with Nanda Baba. And he said, okay, tomorrow I'm coming home. I just have to do 1 or 2 things, some administrative duties. I'm coming back. They stayed at the border of Mathura. And they stayed in the forest. They never went home. The cowherd boys said, Subal Saka, Madhumangal. They never came home. For 100 years, they stayed in the forest. And the trees lost their leaves in separation from Krishna. Why every day Krishna would come into the forest and the trees would weep nectar in their love for Krishna. Everything there is transcendently conscious as pure love. The bees, the birds, everyone lost their purpose of life. Krishna is not here. And in that condition, Narad Muni came and said, Krishna is asking for your foot dust. Krishna is asking for the dust of your feet. And he went to the gopis. And immediately they heard, oh, Krishna has a headache. He's asking for the dust of our feet. Immediately they started to collect the dust of their feet and put it in their shawls. And Narad Muni said, how is this? I've gone to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of devotees. No one would accept this request of Krishna. You are ready to do this? How? Why are you ready to do this? Everyone said they will go to hell by giving their dust of their feet to Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And the gopis said, yes, he is Bhagavan. But if this is his desire, if this will relieve, even if it has the possibility to relieve his headache, we don't know if it'll work or not. But even if there's a tiny, tiny chance, on one hand, Krishna's left them for so long and they're so sad in separation from him. Their purpose, their life has left them and they're weeping, they're lying, their tears have dried up. They have no tears left to shed. Every breath is their last breath. And that hearing this, Krishna's request, they said, oh, at once, even if there's the tiniest chance it will relieve the tiniest pain in Krishna, take it. And Narad Muni said, but you may go to hell for thousands of lifetimes. And they said, we'll very happily accept that. And there's a beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita about the mood of the gopis. Na jani apni sukh, sabhi vancha tara sukh amar tatparya, more jadi dile dukh, tar moy mahasukh, se dukh mera sukhavarya. They said, I don't know of my own happiness. Krishna's happiness is my life and soul. If it pleases Krishna to give me suffering, I accept that suffering as my greatest happiness. Therefore, when Krishna met the gopis and the Rasa Leela, he said, Sasadu krityam vibuddha. O gopis, you are the highest sadhus. You are the greatest personalities because your love is pure. I remember with the Vaishnavas, my mentors, they would say 99% of people fail the test of spiritual life when it comes to selfless love. 99.9% of people fail the test of spiritual love when it comes to spiritual life. Do you have pure love? Unmotivated, causeless, spontaneous love. I just love you. And that is it. There's nothing you could do. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays in the mood of Radharani, Ashlishva padaratang pinastumam adarshanang marnamahatang kurotuva yatatatav vidadhatu lampato mat prananathastu sa eva naparaha. I simply love you. That's it. No else. Before, after. I don't know future. I don't know past. I just know that I love you. And please, I'm only begging that I may be your devotee. That is it. Actually, I only pray to be the devotee of your devotee. I am not so audacious that I think I can be your devotee. Radharani says, I don't have any love, not even a drop of love. Na prema gandosti. Radharani says, I don't even have a drop of love. Mahaprabhu, in pure love of Krishna, people would glorify him and say, actually, this is all a pretense. I am weeping, I'm ecstatic. That is only my desire for my own enjoyment. I don't even have any love for Krishna. So Krishna says, the devotees of my devotees are my real devotees. Why? They are serving the Brajavasis. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said, our ultimate aspiration is to serve the residents of Vrindavan. So what use is liberation? Moksha laguta krit. Rupa Goswami said, Bhukti mukti spriha pisachi. Sense enjoyment, opulence, wealth that you get from worshipping God, and even liberation is like a witch. No, the desire. He said like that. Bhukti mukti spriha pisachi yavat hridi spart. That if you have that desire, I am worshiping God so I get a kingdom. I am worshiping God so I get opulence. I am worshiping God for this, for that, even for liberation. If that desire is there, that is not pure devotion. That desire is dangerous. Why? This is to give us an understanding of what is pure love. Not to ridicule us or other people who have desire for liberation. It's not a criticism. Oh, you want liberation, it's a witch. That desire for that is a witch. You want sense enjoyment, that desire is a witch. It's to give a contrast of what is pure love. Free of anything, any other desire. And that's in the beginning of the Bhagavatam. Savai pungsam paro dharmayato bhakti radoksaje ahaitukiya pratiyata yatma suprasidati. Pure love is unmotivated. It is causeless. Where is it coming from? It's coming from Radharani. It's coming from pure love personified, and then it's coming in the hearts of all the devotees. That's why Radharani is called Prem Surya, the son of divine love. And the son of divine love, Bhav Bhakti, means one iota, one atom, one photon of that ray of pure love will enter into the heart. That is our goal. Everything else is included and is unnecessary. Devotees are not interested in it. So this is the understanding. For the devotees, they have already achieved liberation. They've already achieved liberation. Liberation becomes light, simple. Laguta krit means considered very light. So this is for the devotees on the path. This is not a cheap thing. This is not an ordinary thing. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes the nature of the devotees, a very exalted stage. To say I am a devotee, to say I'm a Vaishnava, it's a very high stage. We are praya. That means we are praying to be a devotee. Vaishnav praya. That means like a semblance of devotee. We are praying to be a devotee. Vaishnav praya. Praya means like, similar, close, semblance. But it means we pray. Vaishnav pray. We pray to become a Vaishnav. It's said that there's a famous verse in scripture that if you practice perfect dharma for 100 lifetimes, you can achieve the position of Indra? No, after some lifetimes, Indra. But if you practice 100 lifetimes of dharma perfectly, you can become Lord Brahma. And if you follow the life of Lord Brahma perfectly, over billions of years in our human kind of understanding of time, 100 years of his time, then you can become Lord Shiva. And if you follow the life of Lord Shiva perfectly, not Sadashiva, this is a manifestation of Shiva, it's a different incarnation of Shiva. But if you follow the life of Shiva perfectly 100 times, then you can aspire and one day become a Vaishnav, pure devotee of the Lord. So what is the position of a Vaishnav? We should understand this. So here, Lakshanam bhakti yogasya nirgunasya yudahritam ahaitukiya vyavahita ya bhakti purushottame. This is bhakti to the supreme absolute truth. Purushottame, the supreme Lord. That is its nature. It is nirgun, transcendental. It is causeless, unmotivated, pure. And that leads to ecstasy, bhav. And it is not that we are seeking that, but it is naturally coming. Pratipadam purnamrita swadam. At every step you're tasting bliss, then why are you aspiring for some future destination? You understand? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Anandam buddhivardam, you're immersed in the ocean of nectar. Pratipadam purna amrita swadam. At every step you're tasting bliss. This is the situation of our devotees, our gurus. Yata deke vaishnavira vyavahara duk nischaya jhani se paramananda suk. Even if it looks like they're suffering, they're tasting supreme nectar, supreme bliss. So that is the devotees. So I'm winding up here. Okay? But in the previous verses, it talks about bhakti, so-called bhakti, with a person who is envious, who is proud, who is violent, who is angry, who is a separatist. That is in the mode of darkness. Worship of deities in the temple by a separatist who are not interested in bhakti yoga, who want material enjoyment, fame, opulence. That's bhakti in the mode of passion, rajagun. And a devotee who worships the Lord, offering the results of activities in order to free himself from the suffering of material activities, karma in samsara. That is bhakti in sattva guna, goodness. But that is not real pure bhakti. Our Gurudev, everywhere he established pure bhakti. Anya vilashta shunyam, jnana karamadhyanavrtam, anukulena krishnanu shilanam, bhakti rutama, pure devotional service. So, now that I'm coming to an end, even though we're just touching on the topic, we haven't spoken so much about Advaita Acarya. One more question here, and we'll conclude. And we'll have our evening arati. So why is it in scripture that different names of Vishnu, Vasudeva, Krishna, and so forth are given? We have to understand that the Veda is described to be like an ocean. Therefore, you take shelter of Guru, who is a captain of his ship, to guide you to the ultimate destination. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Traigunya Vishaya Veda and this Traigunya Bhavarjana. There's the gradual path of development, the Karmakanda section, for people who want elevation, heaven, enjoyment. And they say, worship God and get this. That's also there. It's important. Karma. It's there. It has its place. Or Aishwarya Bhakti. Everything has its place. And everything exalts the highest thing. So if you read Upadeshamrita, verse 10, 11, 12, you can come to some understanding. Karami bhyo, parito hari priyataya, jnani bhya, and so on and so forth. What are the levels of those who are most dear to the Lord? Ultimately concluding with Srimati Radhika. So in this way we can understand there is place for everything. And ultimately in this age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us this highest understanding of Bhakti Rasa. Hare Krishna. So today we are remembering Advaita Acarya. He called out to the Lord with great force so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared and gave us this message. Vanchakalpa tirubhyasya kripa sindhuvevacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo.